I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm actually pretty upset right now. And just like my other videos, I won't drag this out any longer than I need to. Basically, YouTube has stolen over half of the super donations that I've got from you gracious viewers. Even though that is way more than the cut that they should be taking from these donations. For those of you guys that didn't even know that in the first place, yes, YouTube takes a cut of our super donation revenue. We'll get into exactly how much they claim they are supposed to take and how much they actually took from me later. Because as you can see, I have a chat with Google support open right here. So let's get right into it. So over the last 28 days, I've made $240.93 of super thanks revenue, which is way less than I actually got. We'll get into the exact number later, but as you guys can see, I've gotten way more than $200 of super thanks donation revenue because you guys have been so kind and gracious enough to give me your hard-earned money to support the channel. This individual alone has donated $500, and that's not even counting the other donations I've gotten. So the reason I'm upset is how am I only getting $240.93 of that revenue? That's literally less than half. And by the way, over here on transaction revenue, it says your channel's estimated transaction revenue. This includes money from paid content and super chat minus any refunds to partners. Previous 2 days processing, meaning it has already processed all the transactions before the last 2 days. And once again, my last super thanks donation was from 2 days ago and it was only $2. The other 500 plus was already from 4 days ago. Just keep all that in mind. It'll all be important once you see this conversation with YouTube support. So since I was concerned that over half of my super thanks donations were gone, I contacted YouTube support. Keep in mind this is most likely a bot, but I'll take what I can get, right? So we exchanged pleasantries and then we get right into it, and I said, so basically I've received over $500 in revenue from the super thanks donations. My transaction revenue is only $246. And that's counting memberships, by the way, and I only got $6 off of memberships in the last 28 days. So we can subtract that and say $240 of transaction revenue. And I remember seeing a message saying that transactions take about 48 hours to process, but it has been well over 48 hours since the $500 donations have come in. As I just showed you guys in this message right here, it says that in previous 2 days are processing. So then the employee says we can sense how significant it is for you to know more details, allow me to check for you. They asked me to give them a few minutes, and then they asked, when did you receive the super thanks on your channel? They mean the individual donations, and I said, so 4 days ago I got $350 of donations, 5 days ago I got 100, and 6 days ago I got 50. And that was from one person, by the way. I've gotten a lot more than that from other people. So then they said, thanks for confirming, asked me to wait again. And then they said, we looked into your concern and confirmed that the amount for super thanks is $240 on this page. That page I've already just shown it to you guys. And I said, exactly, that's what my issue is. It says $240 of revenue, but I've received way more super thanks donations than that. And then they say the revenue share agreement, whatever, after the local and sales tax deductions, 70% of all transactions are paid to the creator. And then they link me a page that has nothing to do with what I asked them. And so I made the point that $240 is not 70% of 500 though. That's less than half. I should be getting way more than that. If you want to do some quick math here, 70% of $500 is $350, not $240 that I've received so far. And keep in mind, I've actually made more than $500. So $240 is even less of a percentage than the money I've actually made. And then they say, in addition, note that for purchases on iOS, creator revenue share is lower due to Apple service fee. Also keep in mind that sales tax varies per region, blah, blah, blah. And I said, so you're telling me that out of over $500 of super thanks donations, I only get $240? That's less than half. And then they said, we recommend you to also patiently wait for this to be finalized in the next few more days to make sure that the super thanks revenue is updated and validated, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, but like I said, I've seen that it takes up to 48 hours for transactions to be processed. It's been 4 days. And then here's the kicker here, guys. They said, I understand where you're coming from. Hence, we have no means to see if all the transactions made by the viewers are all valid or refunded on their end. And then they link another page. And I was like, but I've read that super thanks donations are non-refundable. Here is their official Google support page that says refunds. Super thanks voluntary payments are non-refundable. And then they said, yes, that's correct. Only for super thanks voluntary payments. And then this is where the confusion started. I said, okay, then I don't know what you mean when you say we have no means to see if all the transactions made by the viewers are all valid or refunded on their end. How can the transactions be refunded if they're non-refundable? And then the employee or bot, whoever it is, admits they made a mistake and said, sorry for the confusion. What we mean is if any transactions made on their payment method is not authorized by the account owner, feel free to review the links we've shared to guide you further. And this is what even made me more confused because now they're suggesting the payment methods were not authorized by the account owner. But even that doesn't make any sense because the payments have already been made because the comments are on the video. The payment's already been authorized. That's why I can see the super thanks donations in the comments. And that's what I said. I said, but the comments have made it through into my comment section. The $50 super thanks donation comments are already there. I'm so confused on how those payments could not be authorized by the account owner. I guess they were suggesting that some kid would go take their mom's credit card and make the payments or something. I'm not really sure. And then they said, let's convert this chat into email. And then they showed my email and said, is this the best way to contact you? And I said, I mean, yes, but you aren't really clarifying properly to me. How can a transaction be unauthorized if the super thanks donation is already there, meaning the payment has already been made? And then they said, good question. What we mean by that is someone reported an unauthorized purchase on your viewer's YouTube account. So yeah, like I said, a kid taking their mom's credit card and making a payment that the mom didn't approve of, and then the mom reports it. But even with that logic, like I said to this employee, didn't we just establish that super thanks donations are non-refundable? So their suggestion of my $240 out of the $500 of donations I made being a result of an unauthorized purchase being refunded doesn't make sense because we just established that super thanks donations are non-refundable. And then they just showed me another link and said, oh, we have a dedicated team that handles users' questions. And then at that point I was like, okay, this conversation is going nowhere. So I said, I guess not, thanks, have a good day, whatever. So yeah, I don't really know what to say from here. YouTube essentially just took over half of my super thanks donation revenue, and they did not give me a good explanation as to why that is at all. I did the math earlier and I believe I've gotten about $537 as a whole from super thanks donations. As shown in this conversation, I only have received $240.93 of that, which is less than half of the revenue. Even though we already established in that conversation that I should be getting 70% of the revenue, so about $350 or more. But instead I only got $240. Their suggestion was for me to wait, but as we've already established, it says previous 2 days of processing of the transaction revenue, so everything before that should already be processed. So not only does this upset me because obviously, the money would be nice, I have a very busy real life and I try to get these videos out to you, and the way you guys are able to support me is with these donations. And now I'm not even getting 70% of the donations, I'm getting like 40%? Really? Not to mention how annoying this is for you guys knowing that less than half of the money that you guys are donating to me is actually coming to me. The rest is just going into YouTube's pocket. So yeah, I'm just really upset about this and I just wanted to share it with you guys. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the situation, and yeah, see ya.